In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn this blank piece into this here, okay, for piece number 5. Now, one of the first things we're going to have to do is square off the piece. Now, we've done squared off the piece before, and we're going to have to do the exact same thing on this here. So you're going to get a good edge, any of these edges to be perfectly good, all right? And you're going to call that there, it doesn't really matter which one you use. You're going to call that good edge 1. And you're going to get then your square. Now, if you're very lucky and you check with your square, you might find that one of those other edges are perfectly good. If not, you're going to have to redraw a line nice and close to the top, because you don't want to be doing a whole heap of filing. Now, I'm going to be using a pen for this just so you can see it easily on the camera, but you'll obviously be using a scriber. Now, making sure that the stock, now, so this is your first good edge, making sure your stock is in tight and against there, because that way there, you're going to make sure that that there is at 90 degrees. Next, we're going to have to do then, so once we have this good, this is going to be our second good edge. We have to figure out what is the length of the piece. So we're going to have to add 15, 12, 50, 94, and 28. And when you add all those together, you're going to get 199. So that's going to tell us that now from this good edge, you're going to measure 199. And you're going to mark that off there. Then again, with the square tied up against this edge, tied up against this first good edge, you're going to draw that line like that. All right, so now you've got your third good edge 3. Then we're going to have to add these 25, 20, 44, and 33. And when you add all those together, you're going to get 134. So from this good edge, you're going to measure 134. And so that's along edge 3. So from here, good edge 1, you're going to measure 134. And then from this good edge, along good edge 2, you're going to measure 134. You simply then get your ruler and join those two together. That is your fourth good edge. 4, and your piece is all squared up. You can take this now to the guillotine and cut those out, and we can file down to the line and get that all squared up. So in this video, what we're going to do now that we've squared off the piece, we're going to mark these measurements across here. Now what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and not move our ruler. So we're going to keep our ruler steady, and we're just going to add up 5 and 10 is 15 and 12 and 15 and so on. So that way then we're using absolute dimensioning on this one here. The first measurement in, so we're going to measure in, we're going to measure in 15 or 5, sorry. So we're going to measure in 5, and then adding on 10 to that will give us 15. Adding on 12 to that will give us 27. Adding on 50 to that will give us 77. Adding on 90 to that will give us 171. So when you've marked all those out, the line doesn't need to go all the whole way down across the piece. We're just going to put a little mark here and here, a little mark here, and three in here. Just then a little bit here, because we want to try and reduce the amount of lines, because otherwise it could get very confusing very fast. And we'll flip it around a wee bit, and then we're going to mark in here. Now we don't need actually one down here, so we're just going to leave that part blank, because this is the top here. Now, as you can see, we've drawn all these lines coming down here, here, and that's why we didn't have any lines here. But what we're missing now is this line across here. And if we look at the drawing, you can see that is down 12 along there. So we're going to get our odd leg calipers, take those nice and sharp, put the odd leg in tight against the edge of the ruler, and we're going to measure over to 12. Then, holding the odd leg in tight against the edge, we're going to run that down there like that. We don't go beyond that line there because we don't need it. You can see we don't need it anyway beyond that. We turn it around, and then we're going to run our line along here. I'll just mark down a little bit heavier with the pen. Just here, here. Just here, and here. Okay. Now, the next line I want to draw is this line here. So this corner point here is this corner point here. Now, if you look at the drawing, from here it's down 38, but that's plus 12 from the very corner, so it'll be down 50. So with the ruler in against that edge there, you're going to come down 50. And you're also going to do the same on the other side. You're going to come up 50. Okay? And that there then is going to join to that corner there. And that is going to join to that corner there. So that's those two lines here. Now, when we have this here, we're going to draw these two lines here across the middle too. Those are our two bend lines. Again, at the back of it, we're going to come down 50, and we're going to come up 50. And we're going to draw this dashed line here. Which is our two fold lines, which are these two lines here. So, in order to finish this piece now, we're going to get these two lines in here at the back. We've also got a little radius 2 curve to go in here. I'll show you how to do that now. So again, we can see from the drawing that it's down 25. So get your odd leg calipers, tighten against the edge, and you're going to measure over to 25. You're going to run that line down there. Now, because this is a radius 2 curve, it's going to come into from the 25. So 25 minus 2 will give you 23. And it's also into from this one here. So it's 28 minus 2 will give you 26. You're going to get your odd leg calipers. Again, you're going to set it to 26. And just right in the corner here, you're just going to run a little line down there like that. Then you're going to get it set it to 23. And you're going to run a little line along there. And that now is the center for this radius curve here. Now we're actually going to drill that out, so that'll take that curve out for us straight away. Last then is this little radius 5 curve down here at the bottom. So we've got to draw this little radius 5 curve here at the bottom. How are we going to do that? We're going to get our odd leg calipers again and set it to 5. You're going to run a line down along here. And you're going to run a line along here. Now, because there's no hole being drilled out in this here, we've got to dot punch it. But when we dot punch it, we've got to do it really lightly because we don't want the hole to be shown when we bent the piece. Okay, so you're going to get your dot punch, get your hammer, and you're going to dot punch that there. Then you're going to get your dividers. You're going to put it into that radius 5, and you're going to draw that curve around like that. Okay, so in this part now, we're going to show you how to remove this here internal slot. All right. So if we look at our drawing, we can see here is the slot here, and we can figure out, we know that there to there is 94. So if we take that away from 134, which is the total, that's going to give us 40. So it's 20 each side. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to get our ruler and our odd leg caliper, and we're going to mark it to 20. Okay, so we put that the odd leg in against the side, and we measure over till we get to 20. Now, we can see that it's between here and here. We're going to draw a line here, flip it around and draw a line here. Okay, I'll draw that in heavy then, and we've got the other measurements done. Now, we can see now that there's a gap here. Sorry, 44. Again, take away 134, which is the total from here to here. That's going to give us 90. You divide that by 2, and that's going to give you 45. So basically, the distance from here to here is 45. So again, we get our odd leg caliper, measure to 45. And we're going to run it along here to get these two parts here. So one there, turn it around, and one there. Okay. Next, we're going to have to come in here, 44. So the distance from here to here is 44. Then we're going to have to come from here to here is 70, and then from here to here is 105. All right. So get our odd leg calipers again. Set that there to 44. All right. And we're going to draw this line down here like this. Now I might just draw this in a wee bit here so you can see. This line. This line. Here's our line is 44. Then we set our odd leg calipers to 70. So we're going to measure over here to 70. All right. Setting your odd leg against the edge, measure over 70. And you're going to draw this line down here and down here. And finally, from here to here is 105. We'll set our odd leg calipers again. It's 105. And the final part is this little part in here. And we know that we've come in 12. here, 12, and in 12 here. They are along this fold line we marked in earlier. And that now is that their internal slot marked out. Okay, there's a little bit of maths and figuring out where all these holes go here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through that here now. We figured out that the total distance from here to here is 134. So halfway to there, that's giving you 67. So it's 67 from here to here. So if we have the 44, that gives us 22. So from there to there is 22, plus the 33 is giving us 55. Okay. Now, if we take 55 away from the 67, that's giving us 12. So that is telling us that the distance from here to here is 12. And that's what we get to set on our odd leg calipers, or this part here. Then we have this one here is at 15, so we'll set our odd leg calipers to 15 for that one. And for this one here, it's 10. Okay, this one here is slightly different. We'll come back to that one. Now, the distance is in then. Look, you start with 24 plus 13. So that hole is in there, 37. Then you add on another 20 for this one, it'll give you 57. Then you add on another 20 for this one, it'll give you 77. And then you add on 22 plus 18. 22 plus 18, and give you 117. So that hole there is exactly 117 from that edge there. So in this video, what I want to go through now is how to mark out all the holes. Now I've labeled them all because it can get a little bit confusing. I've labeled them all A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Now, these ones here, A and M, have to be exactly straight across from each other. B and L, the same. C and K, and D and J. Also, any holes, if there's not a dimension on it, then it's 3.5. And it's only G, this big one here, F, this one here, and D and G, these two here, that are 4.5. So, in order to mark in A and M, as we said, those are exactly across from each other. We're going to get our odd leg calipers. Set that there to 6. Make sure they're good and sharp. And you're going to run a line along here, along this edge. And you're going to run a line along this edge. Then you're going to get your ruler and you're going to put it up to the edge and you're going to mark it in 6. You're going to do the same on the other side. Mark it in 6. Okay. Next, we'll do B and L. Okay. This time we can see from the drawing, okay, these are in 10. So we're going to get our odd leg calipers. That's 10. We'll draw a line here. Draw a line here. Okay. Now, what we'll see here is they're not given this dimension here. So we actually have to go over here and start from this edge and mark our way back. So what we're going to do is we're going to do F and G here first back. So we're going to do this F and G here. And the distance that comes up is 12. All right. So we'll get our odd leg calipers. We'll run our line along here. You can see from our drawing we can 24 and 13. Oh, 4, 24 And then 24 and 13 is 37. Okay. Now, one thing I advise you to do here as well, as you said, all these ones here are 3.5, but these two down here, F is 4.5. So I'd advise you to actually put that dimension in beside it. And this one here is 10. It's F, and so this is G, and this is F. Okay, so that way when you go to drill it, then you're not going to make the mistake. You're actually going to know what side they have to drill it before you drill it. So that's F and G. Then J, we're going to set our odd right calipers to 15. All right. We've done F and G. We're going to do J next. And again, we're going to run our line along here. Now, you can see that it's 24, 13, and 20. So a total of 57. So in from this edge here now, 57. J. So I'll get this way too, just to get the little crosshairs. Right. Next, we're going to do K and C. Set our odd right calipers to 10. Okay. So we're going to, yeah. And we're going to run that along there. And so then we add on, we mark this in 77. Put our little crosshairs in it. It's going to get us point K. Now, like we said, K and C are opposite each other. So what I should have done here with the J is marked in the D as well. We're going to go back. Sorry, so we're going to keep this here at 10. This time we're going to go up to this top line. We measured now, remember, in here, 77. So we're going to do the same up here, 77. Okay. And remember, we said J and D have to be the same. We set our ordinary calipers to 15. Draw that line across there. So J is in 57. Now, finally, we're back to this one here now. L and B. We've drawn our lines across here, so we've got to measure in 117. And the same up the top, 117. Finally, these two in here, H and I, set our odd calipers to 21. Put the line in here, 21. Now, this line here, the back, is going to give us that force from there, it's H. And then we're told then that that's 4 millimeters of the difference. So that is I. What you can do then is just dot punch all those holes, and all these that are not marked are 3.5, and the few, what do I say, D up here, this is 4.5, and this one here is 4.5, this one here is 10, and this one here is 4.5. Okay, the final part of this, we're going to measure in here 6, we're going to measure in here 6, then we're going to measure down half a 34, 17, that's the center for that hole there, and we'll label again diameter 6.5.